All right. So I actually have 4 books to haul, and I believe you do as well.
Yeah, how perfect.
How about we go back and forth?
Let's
Unless,
do
do yours have natural pairings?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither.
We're free. We're wild.
We're free.
Crazy.
Let's do it. Let's go back and forth. How about you start us off?
Okay, so I'll start out. I got 2 that I got at my local used bookstore, and then 2 that I got at a new bookstore when I decided to go Vancouver shopping. I was like, I'm gonna be crazy today. So the first one I got at the used bookstore is Ordinary Human Failings by Megan Nolan. Which is kind of a random one, but I discovered this one after or during when I was reading Penance by Eliza Clark, because this one sounds kind of similar. So it's like a similar vibe to that. It's about, I don't know if it's a small town in England or if it's London or whatnot, but there's like this family who is originally from Ireland, and they're kind of like shunned. Like they're not really like haven't been accepted into the community, and there is some kind of crime, like either a kid goes missing or something. And so they're kind of like blame is cast on them. And so it sounds kind of like spooky and sad, but you know, that's my kind of book. So I am really excited to have this, and it's pretty short. So for anyone who this sounds interesting to, it's short and seems good. I'm really excited about that one.
I'm going to try and match my books to your books.
Ooh, I love that.
So the one that is spooky and sad that I got is Old Caves by Tyler Landry. Ooh. So this is a graphic novel that looked really beautiful, and it's very, very sparse with very little writing, which is rare for a graphic novel. Most graphic novels have a lot of dialogue. Or a lot of narration to kind of push or explain things along. But this one is very sparse. It's all black and white. And the back says, the primordial forest is a source of endless fascination, mysterious creatures, and hazy memories. A retiree dedicates his days to combing the dense, snow-covered thicket in pursuit of the unknown, and his nights to reminiscing about his estranged wife. So it's like this very moody book about this old man who like is trying to chart the forest. And so every day he's like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and chart another section of the forest, and I'm going to try and map out that cave, and I'm going to try and map out this area.
Yeah.
And then he has like flashbacks to his wife that left him. And so it's very sad and spooky and very cold and winter. Yeah, that's my sad and spooky book.
Very good.
What's your next one?
Okay. Next up is
Ooh.
Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter. So this is one that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while, just been waiting to find a used copy, and finally they had a beautiful used copy just sitting there on the shelf. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's like really close up on a pomegranate. So it's just like very kind of like spooky looking as well. Like it looks kind of grim and almost horrific, but it's just a pomegranate. But anyway, so this one is about a woman who works at like a Silicon Valley, I don't know if it's a startup or just like a company or whatever, but it's got that, you know, corporate America vibe. But then so it's kind of her just like dealing with working at this job with toxic bosses, etc. But then she gets pregnant, so that's part of the story. I don't really know what it has, you know, where it goes from there. I don't want to know too much going in, but it just sounds so cool and just like, you know, the type of book that I've been wanting to read lately. I just want more like unsound women books, and I feel like that's what this is going to be.
Okay, so corporate America, and she gets pregnant, and that maybe affects the job.
Yeah.
I'm going to match that with this graphic novel,
Ooh.
The Con Artists by Luke Healy. Listen to the back of this, sounds so much fun. This is going to be Frank's year. He's going to find love, become a famous comedian, and responsibly parent his plants. But then, Giorgio gets hit by a bus. As Frank moves in to care for his estranged childhood friend, he finds himself entangled in Giorgio's web of lies, quickly chipping away at Giorgio's carefully curated online persona. So I don't know how well that one matches, but my other 2 are even more outlandish. But basically, it seems to be like about this guy who wants his life to go in a certain way, and then this thing happens and it gets derailed. The illustration style is really, really pretty. Ooh. It's very clean.
Yeah.
Very clean
crisp.
lines. Very crisp. Yeah. Again, all black, white, and gray in this one. And the main characters, or I can't tell if it's the main character or the author, like talks to you. Like the very first pages This is also, it's published by Drawn and Quarterly. Everything that they put out is so beautiful, like the actual binding of the book and everything. But yeah, it starts with the prologue, which is what I read in the bookshop. And it's a character sitting in an armchair, and he says, "Oh, hello, I'm Luke Healy, the author of this book. No big deal. Thank you so much for picking up a copy. I hope you enjoy the comedy, drama, and other stuff to come. Before we begin, I've been asked to read a prepared statement. The characters depicted in this book are entirely fictional." And then he like reads the like copyright information, which is just so funny. And that's so cute. Yeah, it's really cute. And he's like breaking the fourth wall. And I was like, oh, I like the vibe that I'm feeling.
Yeah,
here.
That's different.
So I picked that one up.
That is awesome. Okay. Well, now on to two books that I kind of specifically went to the bookstore looking for, and I'm really glad that they had both of them. The first one is Men Have Called Her Crazy by Anna Marie Tendler.
Hell yeah.
I think I told you about this book like a couple of weeks ago when we were playing Stardew, and then last week I mentioned it because somebody in our Discord, I think, had bought it. And so I've just like been thinking about this book nonstop, and so I had to get it. So I'm really glad I walked into the bookstore and they had one copy sitting on the shelf and I was like, yes! So this one is a memoir that is very buzzy right now and I think is going to be like a big book of this year. Like it just came out, I think like a week or two ago. And it's a memoir about Anna Marie Tendler, and she basically checks herself into a psychiatric ward, and that this is like her experience with that. And I'm just so here for that. I'm so excited to read this. And like the book starts out, the first line is, "First, they take my suitcase away from me. This is so they can search my clothes for drugs and weapons. Who are they? They are hospital staff, a specific check-in team that I never see again during my time here." So like it starts out just like boom, she's being checked there. In. It's happening. Wow. And yeah, I'm like, I don't know much about it. I don't know much about her. So I'm kind of going into it blind, but it just sounds so perfect for me. Like this is my type of book, so.
I have a feeling you're gonna love that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for that one, I will match. Maybe we could agree it's like a woman who's having a crazy time. She says the word crazy time. Mm-hmm. I got this graphic novel called Beauty by, actually, I think it's just the last names on the front here. Oh, and even it's just the last. These artists just go by their last name. Wow. On the inside, it says "Story in Colors" by Hubert. Art by Kara Skowit. This is so strange looking. This looks really peculiar. The colors are very vibrant, but kind of acidy, I would say. Yeah. Like they're like a little sour, like olives instead of warmer tones, and like limeish colors. A little putrid.
Yes,
feeling.
Putrid is a good word.
A little spooky. So it looks like a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. So basically the drawing style is very like, looks like it could be a children's Disney movie, like Sleeping Beauty vibes for sure. Yeah. Obviously it's called Beauty. But it says on the back, "When Cotty unintentionally delivers a fairy from a spell that held her prisoner, she does not realize how poisoned the wish is she gets in return. From repulsive and stinking a fish, she becomes perceived as magnetically beautiful, which does not help her in her village." So it's like this fairy tale vibe. And I started flipping through it and reading it, and it felt really fun. And I was like, I haven't read a graphic novel that's like the fantasy or fairy tale or not set in contemporary time in a really long time. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd give this one a shot. It looks really cool and weird. Look at this weird little bird railing that's like sitting on the...
He like has human legs. What's going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Very interesting. Well, the last book I got because you told me that you also got it. I just couldn't resist. Yes. The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. So I had kind of heard about this one a little bit, but I was kind of like biased against it because I read one of her books like, 8 years ago or something.
Yes.
The Unseen World. And I just did not like it at all. So I was kind of like, never again, Liz Moore. I'm not interested in your books anymore. And so I kind of just like wrote it off, which was stupid of me and I shouldn't have. But then you were like, "Oh yeah, have you heard about her new book? It's about a summer camp. A girl goes missing. It's set in 1975. I was like, you're saying a lot of words to me that are very appealing. And so I kept thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I also, since I had just played The Quarry, which is also a summer camp vibe, I was like, I think I need this book. I think I need this book right now. And so I went out and bought it, and I'm so glad that I did because it's the vibe. Although I must say, I'm not a big fan of this cover. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually think it would be so much better without that paint drip. So basically,
I think the vibes are off about it.
We should explain it. It's a foresty green all throughout, and it's a photograph, like kind of blurry,
kind of like muted colors. Like nothing really stands out about it.
Of a forest, yeah, and so it's like a big tree and surrounding greenery. But then there's the text, "The God of the Woods," very large along the middle there. Yeah. But then the like kind of weird thing is that there's a giant drop of pink paint. Yeah. That's like dripping all the way down the front of the cover.
Yeah, and it's on the spine too.
And it's on the spine, yeah. It just feels like the two things just don't go together. And obviously sometimes that's the point, to have a tension between two clashing vibes.
Maybe it'll be meaningful, once I read it, but I don't know. It's not my favorite. I took photos for the Instagram today, and I was like having a really hard time taking a picture of this book. I was like, I can't make it look nice. Like, I don't know. I can't make it work. But yeah, that's what I got. Does your last book match up with that?
Oh yeah. That book is about a child. Mm-hmm. So is this one. That's all I got. My last one is another graphic novel. I got 4 graphic novels. Ooh. I just went on a little spree.
Yeah.
This one is called Middle Distance by Milo Choi, a graphic memoir by Milo Choi. And this one is about a person who, like, it starts when they're a kid and they discover that they love running. Ooh. And so it's a little bit like Haruki Murakami's what I talk about when I talk about running, where it's like about running, but it's really about their lives and about how running has helped and hindered in their life, and how it made a big difference in their life, because like if they're processing something difficult, they'd go for a run and it really helped them, but then they got an injury. Ooh. And so they weren't able to run. And then they were like, oh God, I have not set up any system for like confronting my problems. I always just literally run away from them. Yeah. And so that relationship between the character and running, and it goes from childhood to when they're a lot older. I want to say like 30s. So yeah, the illustration style in this one is also black and white. Cool. No grays. And it's very like childlike and overly simple and very friendly. I was definitely intrigued by the style of illustration because it's very cute.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there you go. 4. I'd never heard of any of these graphic novels.
Yeah, they're all
before.
random. I love that.
Which was really fun to kind of just go in and be like, I'm just going to spend some time flipping through a bunch of random graphic novels and see what I can find. And it is really interesting. Like, I've been reading graphic novels for a very long time, and I've read a lot of graphic novels in my day. It is so funny to me how I used to go to bookshops and I would go to the graphic novel section, and there would be like one shelf, like not like 6 shelves but like one shelf long, like a couple of feet, 3 feet of graphic novels, and the rest would be like Marvel or DC comics and stuff. These are like under literary graphic novels, which I think is a bit snooty, but whatever. I get that there's a difference between what they're doing and what like comics are doing, right? But like now you'll go into a bookshop and there will be like an entire row of graphic novels. Like the medium has just gotten so much bigger, and I think it makes perfect sense because you never outgrow liking beautiful art. Like reading graphic novels is just getting to look at beautiful art at the same time as reading text, and so it is like very akin to watching a movie and reading a book. There's a mixture there. So it was so much fun to see so many graphic novels I'd never even heard of.
Yeah. So those were all from the same store?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good old time.